Hello and welcome to Handmade Originals. This is literally the last day of January in 2022, so I think this is probably my last opportunity to say Happy New Year everyone, and welcome to all our new subscribers. Now, what I want to talk about today is, hint here, New Year's resolutions. How many of us made New Year's resolutions? Yay! And how many of us have already, at the end of January, broken our New Year's resolutions? Oops. So, usually on Handmade Originals, I show you or tell you about how to make things or invent things, have a go at doing different things. But in this video, I want to talk about how to make and keep resolutions. And I'm not talking just about New Year's resolutions because, whoa, big shock is that actually there's nothing special about New Year. You can make a resolution to change your habit or make a new habit anytime you like. Right, so although this is me talking to you in this video, I am someone that likes visual aids. So keeping up traditions, here is my visual aid. And if one talks about making resolutions in the business world, one talks about tabling a new resolution. So as I like to play with words, here is my table. And it has 3 legs. And you need these 3 legs or supports in order to sustain this resolution. It may or may not surprise you to know that the top 3 resolutions that people usually come up with at New Year are to lose weight, to eat more healthily, and to get fitter. So losing weight, I'm sort of thinking, is probably going to be achieved as a result of resolutions 2 and 3, to eat more healthily and to get fitter. So I'm going to deal with the latter 2, and I particularly want to deal with the latter 2 because eating more healthily is, to my mind, about changing a habit that you already have, i.e. of eating unhealthily, and getting fitter is about adopting a new habit. So I want to discuss those 2 things. Right, so let's crack on. Let's talk about the first resolution, to eat more healthily. There are 3 things, 3 legs, see what I did there, that you have to consider. The first is how. No. The first is what. What exactly is it you're trying to achieve here? And what do you mean? What do you mean? These are all very subjective answers. What do you mean by eating more healthily? If you're the sort of person that is forever eating sweets or chocolates or cakes or crisps, perhaps what you mean is you want to stop eating that and to eat things like fruit and vegetables. So the next thing you have to consider is how. How do you want to achieve that? And this is about strategy and what plan do you have? Because it's all very well to just say, oh yes, I want to eat more healthily. That doesn't mean anything. And as Little Prince author Antoine de Saint-Exupéry said in 1943, a goal without a plan is just a wish. Duh. But actually I may mock, but there's a lot of sense in that. If you're just saying out of thin air, oh yes, I'd like to eat more healthily, it doesn't mean anything unless you take steps and you actually work out a plan as to what that means to you and how you're going to achieve that goal. So the first thing you have to do, I would suggest, is to stop distracting yourself with temptation. Take out of the house all of the unhealthy snacks, and if that means you have to eat them all up before you start, so be it. Or alternatively, give them to somebody else as a nice little present or throw them away. But do not keep buying new snacks that you don't really want to eat in your house. Or you don't really want to eat them until you kind of get that craving to eat them. So don't hijack yourself. Get rid of all the unhealthy things. Right. Now, I hope that some of you, or if not all of you, will have heard the expression, nature abhors a vacuum. If you take something out of your daily routine, there's a gap, and other things will go back in to fill that gap. So that would be the vacuum which is being filled. So from my point of view, I had a habit of playing computer games. Wasted a huge amount of time. Right, I'm going to stop doing that. I stopped doing that, and instead I started doing the crossword. So you can see exactly the same problem. You take one thing out and something else takes its place. Now, in your case, if you want to eat, if you're one of those people that wants to eat more healthily, take out the healthy snacks and take out the unhealthy snacks, and then have healthy snacks ready to go, which are as convenient as the packet of crisps which is sitting in your larder at the moment. Right, a fun fact, this is, I think, quite interesting. Lots of people historically have wanted to be vegetarians, myself included, but it's been really difficult because the only alternative to meat or fish has been a lettuce leaf or a bit of cucumber. Recently, because there has been a huge increase in vegetarian food in the market, since between 2004 and 2019, there has been a 300% increase in vegetarians in the USA alone. And I think this is indicative of there now being more alternatives, more vegetarian food available. When I was young, which was some considerable time ago, you didn't have vegetarian food marked on a menu at all. So as things are changing, it is becoming easier because you have an alternative available, and that is exactly the scenario with your unhealthy food or unhealthy snacks. You need to have an alternative available to fill that gap, to fill that vacuum. Having worked out that your strategy is going to be to replace unhealthy food with healthy food, you then have to consider when do you have to be ready with that healthy food tucked away in the fridge as the alternative to your packet of crisps. So you need to do a bit of a time and motion study on yourself. And by this I mean just observe yourself during the day and think, when is it I actually feel the craving to eat a packet of crisps or a chocolate biscuit or something like that? And that's when you have to be prepared in advance to have the alternative ready. It's no good waiting till you have the craving and then think, oh, I'll just go and peel some carrots or a cucumber or something. Because, you know, if your craving comes because you're bored or you're tired or whatever, you're not going to be bothered. The easy thing, which is what we're looking for here, the easy thing when we get that craving is to just have whatever's available. And if the only thing that's available is a biscuit, you'll eat a biscuit. So you need to be ready in advance so that even if this means you get up and when you have breakfast, you're peeling carrots or whatever you're doing, peel your crudité or whatever it is you're going to eat, put them in the fridge, and then whenever that low point comes where you think, oh, I just fancy a little nibble on something, you've got your carrots or cucumbers or even peppers or all sorts of exciting things that you can eat. And also glass of water. I know a glass of water won't fill you up and isn't totally sustaining, but actually it's something as opposed to nothing. And here's an alternative I'm having at the moment. I very often drink coffee, but I drink too much coffee, so I thought, what can I have as an alternative? I also drink tea, but I keep thinking, well, they've both got caffeine in them, what can I have as an alternative? And I'm drinking Bovril, which is such a strange drink, but it's absolutely delicious. It's the key thing for me is it's savoury and it's hot. So it's a really nice drink to have, and actually it's really tasty. So there we are, that's my top tip of habit changing from too much coffee to a hot cup of Bovril instead, which is actually full of vitamins and good for you. So that's that. Right, let's look at the other main resolution that people make at New Year, which is to get fitter. Again, first thing you have to do here is set your parameters. What exactly do you mean by get fitter? Do you mean go for a walk? Do you mean start an exercise? Do you mean prepare to run a marathon? You know, you have to set your own parameters, but you have to be clear in your own mind what it is. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to get fit? What exactly is it you want to do? Because the how you do it will obviously be dependent on what it is you want to achieve. If you want to run a marathon, you're going to have to do a considerable amount of training over a long period of time. Not everybody wants to run a marathon. Some people will just want to go for a walk, in which case you need someone to go for a walk with, or you go for a walk by yourself or with your dog or whatever. And with others, it will be an exercise class online where you do it in the comfort of your own home. And some people will want to go and play, I don't know, I play tennis with other people, which is a really nice sociable thing to do as well. It gets you out of the house, which is, thank goodness, a lovely thing to do these days. But you can also do something like dance. Dance is a sport-like activity, gets you out, and also it's kind of, with music, what's not to like? So the other thing I would say to you is, just because if you didn't like something at school, don't give up on it now, because actually sometimes I didn't particularly like tennis at school and I love it now. I play 2 hours a week. Here, let me just give you a word of warning here, on a little side note. Whatever sport you decide you're going to take up, in your strategy, build up a slow and easy start. Don't go at it like the hare, go at it like the tortoise. I know whereof I speak. In January this year, I was playing 2 hours of tennis and I have torn my calf muscle. And let me tell you, it is tremendously painful and very debilitating. I would also suggest that you build into your strategy of how you're going to do it a warm-up session, and afterwards some magnesium spray on your muscles or an Epsom salts bath or something like that. But the point is, cherish yourself. All of this activity is not a punishment. This is to improve your life, to improve your well-being, to make you feel better, a happier, more fulfilled person. Right, now, final tranche for exercise. When are you going to do it? So some people might like to, if you're working a 9-to-5 job, you might want to get up early, go for a run or walk or whatever before you start work, and then you can come back to your desk and you feel you've achieved something before you've even started the day, and that could set you off on a high and you feel great and you've got endorphins pumping through your system. Or alternatively, you might want, if you've had a long and arduous day, especially if you're working from home, you might want to separate your working day from your restful evening by going out for a walk or going out and playing a sport or something with other people, or golf or whatever, so that it separates the working day from the restful day, even though you're actually still working from home and you're in the same place. If you're one of those people who takes the former option and you think you want to start your day earlier and go for a run or something like that, again, as with cutting up your crudités in advance of when you're going to need them, the night before you do it, put out your kit, put out your shoes, have everything ready so that your brain doesn't have to make any decisions at all. All you have to do is look at your kit, put it on, get out of the door. And also make sure you've got your keys, because if you go out at 7 o'clock in the morning and you get back at 8 o'clock and you don't have your keys and your partner or your family are still asleep, you're not going to be popular. Right, so do make sure you've got your keys in all your kit and everything as well. Mel Robbins, who does lots of these motivational videos, one of her top tips is when you get out of bed and you peep out from under the covers and you see your kit sitting there, if part of your brain's going, no, she says, right, just count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and do it. In that 5 seconds, just do it. And that counting backwards is her trick or technique for just getting you out of bed and starting to put your kit on. Right, so do remember this is about being healthier, and do remember this is about being healthier and not hurting yourself. Be the tortoise, not the hare. Now, the final tip I would give you about introducing a new habit is, because it's something new, it's not in your diary yet, so make sure it goes in your diary, not on your to-do list, because that's sometime never. Make sure it goes in your diary and it's a ring-fenced time, that you don't make appointments with other people when other people can't interfere, and it's just you time. Whatever it is you're doing, whether it's dancing or walking or whatever you're doing, just make sure that that's in your diary, and that is time which cannot be eroded by other activities or other people's pulls on you. Right, now, I went a bit berserk on the visual aid, because here we have a table which is a small but stable table, which has 3 legs, and I was thinking actually better than 3 legs, more stable, more likely to succeed, 4. And the 4th one I would put in is fun. As I keep saying, and I hope I've said it more than once, these changes you want to make in your life, the new resolutions you want to make, the habits you want to change and the habits you want to introduce, are somehow something you've thought about because you want your life to be better. So these new habits that you want to introduce, or habits that you want to change, these are changes and introductions that you're making to your life because you think they will improve your life. So make it fun. Don't make it onerous, this tremendous burden, you're sort of punishing yourself or something like that. Make it fun, and then it's more enjoyable. And if it's enjoyable, you're more likely to succeed in doing it. And my 5th leg, if I can put it that way, to make everything more stable and more likely to succeed, is friends. Rope your friends in to give you support and encouragement, and maybe even join in your resolutions with you. Play team sports, make new friends, do different things. Go instead of going for a coffee, go for a walk. And when you're walking along, add a little skip into your step. When you're home alone, dance like nobody's watching. Just have some fun with this, and never, never underestimate the power of silly. And finally, should you slide, do not label yourself a failure and give up. Reassess what made you slide, re-strategize, and plan to succeed. I want to say deadline schmedlines. You know, there's nothing special, as I said at the beginning, about the 1st of January or the 1st of February or the 1st of any month, or I'll start when. Start now. Let me know if you've enjoyed this video and subscribe so that you don't miss any in the future. See you next time.